What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is MD here, your source for crypto information and honest feedback. I want to give a shout out to all of my current subscribers right now. We are sitting at a healthy 19 subscribers. I am glad our community is growing. If you guys like the channel and the content so far, go ahead and leave a like and a subscribe to follow us for more. Click the bell so you can get notified every time I come on the net. Lately, I've seen a couple people trying to reach out to us for crypto information and questions about the general space overall. And honestly, the best way to reach us is here on Discord. The link will be down in the description. Or if you want to just ask questions on the YouTube platform, that is fine as well. I check the comments every day. Unfortunately, due to my current region and location, it is hard to reach me via cell phone. But the comment section is always open. The daily digital Discord is always open. And you can reach me on Instagram and Twitter at mdigital4u. Those links will be in the description as well. So today I want to drop a couple bombs on the crypto space and non-believers. All of the information provided in this video today will be searchable through the institutional website and or the project's website, whatever piece of information that is covered today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now I want to preface this whole video in the context thereof with an argument that I had with a gentleman speaking about the crypto space as a whole, not just Bitcoin in particular, saying that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies itself do not have any intrinsic value. And I'm here because the crypto space can make you a lot of money. Regardless of what you think, what you believe, we all just need to be honest with ourselves because the current economic situation we are in, I don't know about your financial situation, but we can all use a couple $100,000, $100,000, and or a couple dollars if you ask me. All right, so what this gentleman said to me about cryptocurrencies having no intrinsic value, it brought me to a little bit of research, which I hope all of you decide to do, because everything that I say on this channel can be fact checked, and I hope you guys do fact check me, because it seems like people are taking others' words as law, as religion, and there is no research behind it. And I found a couple of articles. And it just so happened that Jamie Dimon has come out once again bashing the crypto space. I'm going to read this passage here. I don't want to be a spokesperson. I don't care. It makes no difference to me, he continued. Our clients are adults. They disagree, and that's what makes markets. That is incorrect. Truth makes markets. If I couldn't see what people are willing to sell or buy an asset or a stock on an order book, why am I going to trade in that space? You can apply this logic to derivatives markets because you can agree or disagree on a futures price or a options price. So let's continue. So if they want to have access to buy themselves Bitcoin, we, as in JP Morgan, can't custody it, but we can give them legitimate, as clean as possible access. And it's all about the money. That's the reason why they're getting into the space. Now moving on to the next paragraph. This isn't a new stance for Dimon. Recently, he told Axios CEO Jim VandeHei that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. And although he thinks Bitcoin will be around long term, I've always believed it would be made illegal someplace, obviously like China, because they have their own agenda. They're trying to launch their own CBDC, and as much control that China likes to have on their people, having a free and sovereign currency like Bitcoin does not fit within their agenda. So I think, let's continue reading on. So I think it's a little bit of fool's gold. And what these public figures like to do is bash Bitcoin, but they're making money on it in the background. And like I was arguing with this, not arguing, but it was more of a discussion with this gentleman. He doesn't think that Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space is being adopted. He doesn't think that it could make him money. He was bragging to me about all of this money he made in the stock market. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Just don't think that you're way above the cryptocurrency space. The money that you are getting is hyperinflated. Not hyperinflated, but heavily inflated. And it's only done to make sure the economy still looks good in terms of GDP and the economy's health overall. As you know, we just are barely climbing out of the pit of the current economic situation we had during the end of 2019, 2020, and still going into 2021. So I would not be too joyful over the gains that I am making over a stock market where the money just appeared out of nowhere. And that brings me on to the next tab. Jamie Dimon and his company has tried to make their own coin. They say they don't care about the cryptocurrency space, but they try to imitate it and back it with a dollar that has no intrinsic value itself. The gold standard was removed from the US dollar in 1971. So it is severely dismissive when you say that cryptocurrency has no intrinsic value, but you still transact with a dollar that ultimately has no backing itself. Let's roll this video from back in 2018 of JP Morgan discussing with board members about their JP Morgan coin.
Afterward, Mr. Dimon, in 2017, you called cryptocurrencies, quote, not a real thing. But this year, your firm unveiled JPM coin and stated, quote, we are supportive of cryptocurrencies as long as they are properly controlled and regulated. Why the shift?
Well, the blockchain is real technology. A lot of people use it and testing it today, and we think it will work over time. Right? But the part that's not real is the cryptocurrency is not supported by anything. There's no value behind it other than what the next person will pay for. And they have serious issues about that. The JP Morgan coin is a token which is supported by a deposit at JP Morgan. It can be shipped around the world real time. It can go with a lot of data on it. You can split it into pieces, and the second someone wants cash, we can move the cash to.
So the settlements will happen almost instantaneously, and there will be a blockchain distributed ledger. And how will that facilitate better payment systems if it works correctly?
Well, the payment systems today, they do work and they're very cheap. But the fact is, this might be a faster way. It can be faster. It comes with data, and everyone would have the same data at the same time. So instead of us having to call each other's banks up and saying, what happened to that shipment from Singapore, you just go to the same screen and see it right away.
Because of the nature of the blockchain, it's inherently more transparent.
Now, this is exactly why I love the internet, because you can hide nothing. So as you can see there, they have tried to launch their own JPM coin, which basically did the same thing as distributed ledger technologies today. And ultimately, it did not work. You don't really hear anything about it today. And whether they try to relaunch it under a different name like Facebook tried to do with their Libra coin, which is now called Diem, I highly doubt it would be successful even after the rebranding. So with all this talk about lack of intrinsic value, let's go ahead and educate ourselves on it. Intrinsic value of a commodity is the value that a product possesses in itself. It does not require an additional source to provide it with a value. For example, sweetness is an intrinsic value of sugar. Every commodity earns its value if there is a price that people would pay to obtain it. Today, we accept any fiat currency in exchange for goods or services as we understand that in turn. The fiat currency can be traded again to obtain other goods and services. So as we know right now, the US dollar has no intrinsic value. It is not backed by a commodity anymore as it was in 1971 when it got removed off of the gold standard. We trade it back and forth because we know it can be traded once again and once more for similar goods and services. But with the amount of money printing, the dollar is losing its purchasing power, which if you go back 100 years from now, the dollar cannot purchase the same amount of goods and services as it did once before. And that's why Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space has a higher and more incentivize intrinsic value than our current financial system does. Now, going on to the second paragraph here, certain currencies that are backed by precious metals like gold and silver have an intrinsic value. But today, most of the global currencies are fiat currencies. A commodity, to be valuable, hence needs to be exchangeable for a similar value. The commodity also must be able to hold or store its value so as to be traded in the future. And to that, if the commodity in place is limited in supply, then its value increases over time with demand. Now, doesn't that make you think about the 21 million cap that Bitcoin has? Bitcoin has scarcity. And going up to the sentence up here, the commodity also must be able to hold or store this value so as to be traded in the future. Has Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space overall held its value over the past 10 years since its inception? Absolutely. And it's done it way better than gold, way better than the dollar. No disrespect to gold, the king here. But we just need to be honest with ourselves when it comes to throwing around fear, uncertainty, and doubt and fake news when it comes to the crypto space. It can make you a lot of money. And we'll get into more adoption news here in a bit. Now, while conducting my research, I wanted to dig a little deeper and see if I can justify the price that Bitcoin is at now. Not just because people will agree to pay $60,000 plus for a Bitcoin or a fragment of it, which would be the Satoshis. In that network theory that I believe values Bitcoin and justifies the price is Metcalfe's law. Now I'm going to post a picture up here, but the definition is Metcalfe's law says that a network's value is proportional to the square of the number of nodes in the network. For example, the end nodes can be computers, servers, and simply users. As Bitcoin is a decentralized asset and requires and relies on miners and node operators themselves to validate transactions on a network. Now let's keep reading. If a network has 10 nodes, its inherent value is 100. And the example is 10 times 10 equals 100, which would hopefully justifies Bitcoin's value. This network theory has been tossed around a few times by prominent figures in the crypto space, and it doesn't really stick as much as I would like it to, but it's just a theory, so that it's just that until it's proven a fact. And at least we have something to go off here. The US dollar is what it is. I mean, when US dollars are first created, they're created digitally. And then that digital money is used to buy a bond, which then puts more dollars into the circulating supply. We'll get more into that in a couple tabs. Now, even though I already stated the definition, I just wanted to read one passage from this network theory. So, taken together, they found that these assets had a Metcalfe coefficient of about 1.5, whereas Metcalfe himself would expect a 2, a squared relationship. A Metcalfe coefficient measures the relationship between network capitalization and its users. A coefficient of 1 suggests a 1-to-1 relationship. A variation of Metcalfe's law has often been applied to social media giants, and this is going to be a pretty good example. Facebook's valuation, especially before going public, was derived from looking at a monthly active user standpoint. If it was just Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook himself, it wouldn't be very useful to the social platform. And the same could be said for Bitcoin. It wouldn't be the same if it was just Satoshi in his node, which is highly justified because we have millions of people who have Bitcoin accounts, Bitcoin wallets, and the same thing goes with any crypto that is in this space today. All of the nodes, all of the miners, if you're a proof of stake or proof of work, it does not matter, all of the users contribute in a particular purpose of either validating a block on the network, verifying a transaction, creating blocks on a network. It all boils down to utility. All of the users play a critical part in these networks, which can make you money. Buy an asset that is backed by proof of stake, which would be math. I can trust math. I can do that. One thing I just can't get by is money being printed at will and me not getting compensated for it. I will not stand for that. I need an asset that appreciates in value overnight. I go to sleep, I wake up, I have more money. If the dollar is going to be printed like that, I would expect the same in return, but yet it doesn't work like that. It goes to the institutions and banks that are too big to fail, just to keep the economy looking good. Retail purchases and investors only play a small part in the economy's GDP. Now let's keep moving here. Crypto could cause a 2008 level meltdown. Bank of England official warns. Now, if this were true, if you guys know how or what caused the 2008 level meltdown, let's read the key points here. In a speech Wednesday, Cunliffe linked the rate of growth of the crypto asset market from 16 billion 5 years ago to 2.3 trillion today, which, as we spoke before, I believe is justified. We have intrinsic value, we have the users, and we have the trust at which they believe that if you buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin today, you could buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin tomorrow. It maintains its value compared to the US dollar. Now, reading on to the 1.2 trillion subprime mortgage market in 2008. So the mortgages that were being loaned out in 2008 had a low probability of them being paid back. And what that did was put more money in fund managers' pockets at the expense of unsuspecting mortgage applicants. And that all boiled down to there being a huge bubble of 1.2 trillion, as you can see right there, and the market eventually collapsing because you can only take out so much debt against debt against debt before it all falls down. And now going back up to the first key point, they're saying that the 2.3 trillion crypto market is going to crash the economy of the United States. Now, if this were true, how much money can the Fed print before people lose their trust? Which would be the same as the fund managers loaning out subprime mortgage loans in 2008. And since we know what a fiat currency is, it is a currency that's backed by government that the people trust. It's only trust that holds up the value of the US dollar. There is no intrinsic value. Now, crypto, on the other hand, is nowhere near a subprime loan of the 2008 crisis. Crypto has a 2.3 trillion market cap today because it has earned that value. It has gained that value. Crypto has unlocked value in all kinds of crevices that exist in our current financial system today. And just going back, thinking about my videos in the past, the Theta network is trying to bring higher quality streams at a lower cost to users. And where does all of that extra money go when they bring that better quality at a lower cost? Right back to the people, because you watch the streams and you get compensated with their native currency. Now, thinking about Veracity, the VRA token we talked about, if they are able to eliminate billions of dollars of ad fraud that brands pay out to these publishers, where does that money go? Right back to the people. And you have the Nostro Vostro accounts that XRP is trying to stick their foot into. If they can unlock the trillions of dollars that sit in all kinds of accounts around the world due to cross-border payments and frictional payments, then where does that money go? Do I need to say more? Now I'm going to show you a chart of the M2 money supply, which shows the amount of money that enters US dollars that enters in circulation over a certain period of time. And you can see all the way to the left would be 1985, all the way to 2020. And you could see that spike where the Federal Reserve went absolutely ballistic in response to the economic crisis that happened that is currently happening over the past 2 years. Now, don't you think this can cause a 2008 level meltdown rather than the crypto space, which actually earned its valuation that it has today? All $2.7 trillion are not a scam. It's not a gimmick. People put their money into crypto because they can trust it. It holds its value over time. And I wish people would do their research to get that concept. And if you're watching this video today and you're in crypto, I wave my digital hand to you. I give you a tip of the digital hat, because it's absolutely crazy that the government will warn you about all of these things, but the stuff that they're doing. Printing money is not sustainable. Fiat currency is not sustainable. If you look up the definition of a fiat currency is only supposed to last about 25 to 30 years, I believe. Economists are saying that there's going to be a crash soon. I don't know. I don't like to ensue panic. I just like to provide people with the research and information and the tools that I'm using to better prepare my wealth for the future. Now, we're going to switch gears here, and we're just going to take a look at countries where Bitcoin is legal and illegal. And obviously, they have a lot of the main ones here, which would be the first, United States, of course. They have a more neutral but generally positive stance on crypto. You have Canada here, which I believe they hold the record for the most ETFs for Bitcoin and crypto itself. I think they have 5 or 6 ETFs. We have Australia. We have the European Union. So pretty much the world superpowers. And you have El Salvador, which would be lower on the list in terms of GDP. Obviously a smaller economy compared to these larger ones up here. And we have the current countries that say no to Bitcoin. China, obviously. And I'm going to pull up an article here that shows China is working on their own CBDC. Now, as I spoke of earlier in this video, it is almost guaranteed that they would have banned Bitcoin because it does not line up with the amount of control that they want over their people and currency. We have Russia, who is also working on their own digital currency. Vietnam, I have not heard anything about them creating their own digital currency, but I would say the reason for them denying it, probably because they would rather issue their own central bank distributed currency. That's pretty much all for this article. Let's go ahead and move on to the news that has happened this week. ProShares. As you guys know, I put on my Discord chat a couple days ago that the first Bitcoin ETF has launched, and it has been the fastest ProShares ETF Bitcoin strategy to ever get to $1 billion naturally. Gold was the king of this title from 2004 till current, and it did it in 3 days. ProShares ETF did it in 1 day. Now I want to scroll down here because we also had another Bitcoin ETF, which was the Valkyrie. And I also put this in my Discord chat. They named their Bitcoin strategy ETF BTFD. And if you guys know what that acronym stands for, it is buy the freaking dip. These people are absolutely insane. And you could see that the institutional demand right now is going through the roof. The rest of these are ETFs to come, which are pretty much sitting in the inbox of the SEC. So we will see if they are approved here. We have one coming up on the 25th. And I don't know if I know these top 3 are futures ETFs. They're not spot ETFs. So we will see If it looks like futures ETFs are getting all the love right now. So I'll keep you guys updated on what happens with that. But the next date to look out for, October 25th, which is 2 days from now. I just wanted to pull this article up just to show you guys that they changed. I don't know what their ticker was before for their ETF, but yeah, they changed it to BTFD. Buy the flippin' dip. All right, so here, which was not on the upcoming ETF list, Grayscale, which is the largest crypto asset manager to date, they have been long committed to transforming GBTC, which is their Grayscale BTC, and their other investment products into ETFs. So the largest asset manager in terms of crypto is trying to launch their own ETF, and is obviously all they hold is crypto. So this would be a physically traded ETF. And I also just want to pull up a chart of the gold price since the first ETF for gold was launched. And if we have a physically traded ETF for Bitcoin, I am assuming it would be the same treatment that gold got. The price absolutely skyrocketed to where it is today, and gold really hasn't moved since, because I believe that the gold market is manipulated. That's just my opinion. I do not have enough research to back that up. But am I currently researching? Absolutely. And that is basically all I have for crypto not having intrinsic value, the US dollar being king over BTC. All of those conversations, I believe they can easily be debunked. All you have to do is just a little bit of research. All of the URLs and the information that I covered are visible, so you can easily pause the video, take a look yourself. And this is just more for the people who are not in the crypto space. So if you have questions, use my videos as a reference, please. Or if you just want to contact me, just go ahead and reach out. But I really just wanted to bring this up because crypto is going to make a lot of people a lot of money. You can make money by playing to earn crypto. You can stake your crypto. You can pool your crypto together for a liquidity pool. You can provide security through running your own node. You can watch videos to earn crypto. You can simply just invest in crypto, validate transactions for payment. And that is just barely scratching the surface of everything you could do in the crypto space. As you guys know, that is also popular. You can create NFTs as an artist. You can release music as an NFT. I was talking to my wife the other day. She does nails and she's damn good at it. You can turn a nail design into an NFT. The opportunities are limitless. And another thing that the guy said to me was that crypto is not getting adoption in the US. So he basically believes that crypto is not being adopted and governments and or regulators are not really paying attention to the space. And I just want to go over a roll-up of news that I have found either this week or within the past year. BTC ATMs being installed in Walmart. You guys will be able to see this information on the screen, but I can't see it. I just have correspondence prepared for myself. Banks can hold crypto and stable currencies, stable coins. The Fed will soon release a paper on what they will do with their CBDC, which is their central bank distributed currencies. We have people who are buying houses with crypto, and more specifically, DOGE and Cardano. There has been other instances where people used Bitcoin and other things, but that is just beyond me. As you can see, they paid 4.1 million, I believe, for their luxury condo in Portugal. We have Facebook launching their own wallet. I heard they got some pushback from the government once again because they believe that Facebook is not trustworthy to be in the financial space. Facebook rebutted with, they are not a part of our company. in conversations like that. But even with the association to Facebook, they do not trust that company, which ultimately sucks. I mean, you kind of burned people's trust and you don't really get a second chance. And the last piece of news that I seen today was Nigeria hoping to release their CBDC this Monday, which is actually pretty quick because I did not hear any news on this prior. But man, people have to do their research. It is heavily important. There is so much to do in the crypto space. And I can tell you right now that JP Morgan, all of these millionaires and billionaires will make you seem like you were doing the right thing by keeping your hands off of crypto. But let's say if you took your stimulus check of $1,200 a couple years, well, not a couple years ago, but within the past year and a half, you would be up quite a bit. I remember getting my stimulus check and putting it right into Bitcoin. No hesitation, because I do not need that money. And hopefully others who did not need that money did the same as I did, as it is the best option right now in terms of maintaining its value. All right, guys, that will do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you. I appreciate you for watching this video. If you like what you've seen so far, leave a like on the video. If you want to join the Daily Digital's Discord, subscribe and go ahead and use the link below to join. There you will be able to ask all the questions you have, and we will be more than happy to answer them for you. If you found this content useful for yourself and you think it would be useful for a friend, go ahead and share it, please. I would definitely appreciate the support, and I will catch you guys on the next one.